The OR smells like bleach and cold metal. Maya Reeves pushes the crash cart down the hallway, wheels squeaking against polished linoleum. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting everything in sterile white. Her scrubs are too big. They always are. She bought them that way on purpose. Something about blending in, about taking up less space. 6 months. She's been here 6 months, and still nobody knows her name. Not really. They call her Reeves, sometimes Doctor. Though it sounds more like a question than a title. She's the first-year resident who restocks supplies, preps suture kits, shadows surgeries from the back of the room where the light doesn't quite reach. She's good at being invisible. Bay 3 needs instrument trays. She unlocks the supply cabinet, counts scalpels, arranges hemostats by size. Her hands move fast, efficient, like she's done this 1,000 times. Like muscle memory carved in somewhere deeper than thought. Nobody notices. Down the hall, Dr. Garrett leans against the nurse's station, tablet in hand, half listening to the morning briefing. He's the senior attending, been here 15 years, and he wears his authority like a coat he never takes off. He looks up when Maya walks past. Reeves. She stots, doesn't turn around. Yes, doctor? Did you check the blood supply for Bay 4? Yes, sir. 6 units ONEG, 4 units APOS, all cross-matched and logged. Check again. She doesn't argue. Never does. Just nods and heads toward the blood bank. Behind her, she hears Diane, the charge nurse, muttering something to one of the techs. The words are low, but not low enough. She's too quiet. I don't trust the quiet ones. Maya keeps walking. The blood bank is cold, colder than the rest of the hospital. She pulls the inventory sheet, runs her finger down the columns. Everything is correct. She knew it would be. She checked it twice already at 0600, before anyone else arrived. But she prints a new copy anyway, signs it, dates it, brings it back to Garrett. He doesn't look at it, just takes it, clips it to his board, dismisses her with a flick of his hand. Maya returns to Bay 3. There's a routine cholecystectomy scheduled for 0900. Gallbladder removal, low risk, the kind of surgery Garrett could do in his sleep. She preps the table, lays out clamps, sutures, sponges, counts everything 3 times, checks the suction, tests the cautery pen. Dr. Holloway walks in, younger attending, confident in the way people are when they haven't seen anything go wrong yet. He glances at the setup, then at Maya. You do this? Yes, doctor. It's good, clean. She nods, doesn't smile. He lingers for a moment, like he wants to say something else, but then his pager goes off and he's gone. Maya stands alone in the empty OR, surrounded by steel and silence. Her hands rest on the table edge. Steady, unshaking. They used to shake. She flexes her fingers once, then pulls her gloves on and gets back to work. The morning stretches on. 3 surgeries, 2 successful, 1 complicated by unexpected adhesions. Maya assists on all of them. Hands instruments, holds retractors, stays. Is 2 steps behind the surgeons and out of their line of sight. At noon, she takes her lunch in the residence lounge. It's a small room, windowless, with a couch that smells like old coffee and a refrigerator that hums too loud. Jensen is there, another first year, cocky, loud, always talking about his undergrad at Yale. He looks up when she walks in. Reeves, heard you scrubbed in on the Whipple this morning. I observed. Same thing. He grins. You say anything? No. Yeah, that tracks. He laughs, not meanly, just casually, like it's obvious. You're like a ghost, man. I swear, half the staff forgets you exist. Maya opens her locker, pulls out a protein bar. Doesn't respond. Jensen keeps talking. He always does. I'm saying you gotta speak up, Mon. Show them you're not just here to carry trays, you know? You gotta make them see you. Maya unwraps the bar slowly, takes a bite, chews. I'm fine where I am. Jensen shrugs. Suit yourself. He leaves. Maya finishes her protein bar in silence. When she's done, she pulls a small photograph from the inside pocket of her scrub jacket. It's laminated, creased, faded at the edges. 6 people in desert fatigues, dust on their faces, exhaustion in their eyes. One of them is her, younger, thinner, smiling in a way she doesn't anymore. She looks at it for 5 seconds. Then she tucks it back into her pocket and returns to the OR. At 1400, there's a complication in Bay 2. Post-op bleed, patient coding, pressure dropping fast. Dr. Patel is alone. Is in a meeting. He's scrambling, hands moving too fast, too frantic, trying to find the source. Maya is walking past when she hears the monitor alarm. She stops, looks through the window. Patel clamps blindly, misses. The blood pools faster. Maya's fingers twitch. She knows the angle, knows where the vessel is, knows how to attract the tissue so it doesn't tear. She pushes the door open. Need a hand? Patel looks up, wild-eyed. I've got it. You sure? He tries again, fails again. Maya steps closer, gloves on, hands already moving. Let me. She doesn't wait for permission. She's beside him, repositioning the clamp, adjusting pressure, threading the suture in 4 seconds flat. The bleeding stops. Patel stares at her. How did you? Anatomy, Maya says quietly. She strips off her gloves, drops them in the waste bin, and walks out before he can ask anything else. In the hallway, her hands shake. Just once. Then she clenches them into fists, and the shaking stops. At the end of her shift, she changes in the locker room. The photograph is still in her pocket. She holds it for a moment, then tucks it into the back of her locker, behind a spare pair of scrubs. She doesn't look at it again, but she doesn't throw it away. The hospital cafeteria is too bright. Maya sits near the window, alone, picking at a salad she won't finish. Around her, the noise is wrong. Laughter too loud. Silverware clattering like gunfire. Overlapping voices that press against her ears until her jaw tightens. She breathes through it. In. 4 counts. Hold. 4 counts. Out. 4 counts. It's a rhythm she learned a long time ago, in a place where breathing wrong could get you killed. Someone drops a tray 2 tables over. The sound is sharp, sudden, metallic. Maya's hand snaps to her chest, fingers pressed flat against her sternum. Her vision tunnels for half a second, maybe less, but it's enough. When she pulls herself back, her hand is trembling. She hides it under the table. Dr. Reeves. She looks up. Dr. Samir stands across from her, tray in hand, expression neutral. He's one of the senior attendings, trauma surgery, former military liaison. He moves like he's still wearing body armor, even in scrubs. Mind if I sit? She nods. He doesn't ask questions, doesn't make small talk. Just eats his sandwich in silence, and for the first time in weeks, Maya feels like she can breathe all the way down. But then the tray sound echoes again in her memory, and her hand twitches. Samir notices. He doesn't say anything, just watches her pull herself back together, piece by piece, until her face smooths out and her breathing evens. You okay? Fine. You sure? She meets his gaze. Yes, sir. The formality slips out before she can stop it. Military reflex. Old habit. Samir's expression doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes. Recognition. Curiosity. He doesn't push, but he doesn't forget. That night, Maya dreams. She's back in the tent. Canvas walls rippling in the wind. Sand everywhere. The metallic tang of blood mixing with diesel and burning rubber. There's a soldier on the table, young, maybe 22. Shrapnel in his chest, femoral artery compromised, pupils blown. She's got 2 hands, 1 suture kit, and no time. Stay with me, she says, but he doesn't. She wakes up at 0400, drenched in sweat, hands still moving through phantom compressions. She doesn't go back to sleep. Instead, she goes to the gym in the hospital basement. Runs 5 miles on the treadmill. Does pull-ups until her hands blister. Control, precision, repetition. It's the only thing that works. The next morning, she's in the OR early. Bay 5, routine appendectomy. But when the patient codes during induction, unknown allergy, airway swelling shut, Maya moves. Not like a first-year resident. Like someone who's done this in a sandstorm with no backup and a convoy 15 minutes out. She's got the airway open, tube placed, oxygen flowing. Patient stable before anyone else in the room has processed what's happening. Dr. Garrett stares at her. Where the hell did you learn that? Maya's voice is flat, professional, empty. Textbook, sir. He doesn't believe her, but he doesn't ask again. Later in the supply closet, Maya is restocking instrument packs when she hears footsteps behind her. She turns. Diane stands in the doorway, arms crossed, expression hard to read. That was fast, what you did this morning. Maya doesn't respond, just goes back to counting scalpels. Too fast, Diane continues, for someone who's supposed to be 6 months out of med school. I got lucky. Luck doesn't place an ET tube in 8 seconds. Maya sets down the scalpel, turns to face her. Is there something you need, Diane? Diane studies her for a long moment. Then she shakes her head. Just be careful. People are starting to notice. She leaves. Maya stands alone in the closet, surrounded by sterile instruments and the smell of antiseptic. Her hands curl into fists. Then she finishes restocking and goes back to work. That afternoon, she's assigned to shadow Dr. Holloway in Bay 1. Hernia repair, routine, nothing complicated. But halfway through, the patient's pressure drops. Fast. Holloway curses. Must have nicked something. I need better visualization. He's fumbling, adjusting the light, moving retractors, missing the bleed. Maya sees it immediately. Inferior epigastric artery, small tear. Easily missed if you're not looking at the right angle. She doesn't speak. Holloway tries again, misses again. The monitor alarm starts to climb. Maya's fingers twitch. She knows she shouldn't, knows it will draw attention. But the patient is bleeding and Holloway is running out of time. Doctor, she says quietly. 12 o'clock, just beneath the fascia. Holloway looks where she's pointing, clamps it. The bleeding stops. He glances at her confused, almost suspicious. Good catch. Maya nods, says nothing. But when she leaves the OR, Holloway is still watching her. That evening, Maya sits in her car in the hospital parking lot. Engine off, windows down, letting the cool air wash over her. Her hands rest on the steering wheel. She thinks about the soldier in the tent, the one who didn't make it. She thinks about the 6 faces in the photograph. She thinks about the person she used to be, and the person she's trying to become, and the impossibility of being both. Her phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. If you ever want to talk, my door's open, Samir. She stares at the message for a long time. Then she deletes it, starts the car, drives home. In her apartment, she opens the closet, pulls out a box from the top shelf. Inside, there's a uniform, folded, pressed, untouched for 2 years. Beneath it, a medal, silver, heavy. She holds it for a moment, then she puts it back, closes the box, pushes it to the back of the closet where she doesn't have to see it. That night, she doesn't dream, but she doesn't sleep either. She lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting her breaths. In, 4 counts. Hold, 4 counts. Out, 4 counts. Go over and over, until morning comes. It happens on a Tuesday. The trauma alert comes in at 13:42 hours. Multi-vehicle collision on the interstate. 4 critical, 2 pediatric, ETA 8 minutes. The OR erupts into controlled chaos. Maya is assigned to Bay 2, support staff, non-surgical role. She's there to hand instruments, monitor vitals, stay out of the way. She's good at staying out of the way. The first patient arrives at 13:49. Male, mid-30s, GCS 6, massive internal bleeding. Dr. Holloway is the attending. He's calm, methodical, moving through the steps like he's done 1,000 times. Until he's not. Damn it, I can't see the bleeder. Suction hisses. Blood pools faster than they can clear it. The pressures. Riz dropping. Systolic hit 70. Somebody get me better visualization. The scrub nurse adjusts the light. It doesn't help. Holloway's hands hesitate. Just for a moment. Just long enough for the monitor to start its descent. 68. 65. Maya sees it. She sees the torn splenic artery buried under the liver's edge. Sees the angle Holloway's missing. Sees the way the tissue's folding wrong because the retraction is too shallow. She doesn't think. She moves. Doctor. Holloway barely glances at her. What? The spleen's masking the vessel. If you retract from the lateral approach and angle 30 degrees cephalad, you'll get direct access. Silence. Everyone stops. Holloway stares at her like she just spoke another language. What did you say? Maya's voice is steady, clinical, detached. Retract from the left, 30 degrees up. You'll see it. Holloway's jaw tightens, but the monitor is screaming now. 60, 58. He has no choice. He adjusts, retracts, angles. The vessel appears. Jesus Christ. He clamps it, ties it off. The bleeding stops. The room exhales. But Holloway doesn't thank her. He just looks at her. Really looks, like he's seeing her for the first time. How did you know that? Maya's face is blank. Anatomy class. Bullshit. The word hangs in the air. But before he can push further, the doors burst open. The second patient crashes through. Pediatric. 8 years old. Head trauma. Skull fracture. Brain swelling. Dr. Miner is assigned. He's a general surgeon, not a neurosurgeon. And the moment he sees the CT scan on the monitor, his face goes pale. We need to drill a burr hole. Now. We don't have a neurosurgeon on site. Then we improvise where he dies. Miner's hands shake as he reaches for the drill. Maya steps forward. Let me. Miner looks at her like she's lost her mind. You're a first-year resident. I've done this before. In what universe, sir, with respect? We don't have time. She doesn't wait for permission. She takes the drill from his hands, positions the child's head, palpates the skull for landmarks. Her fingers find the spot. She marks it with a sterile pen. The room is silent. Maya's hands do not shake. The drill bites into bone. Clean, controlled, precise. 3 millimeters. 5. 7. She stops. Withdraws. The pressure releases. The ICP drops. The child stabilizes. Miner stares at her. Who the hell are you? Maya sets the drill down. Her voice is quiet. Just someone who didn't want him to die. She walks out of the OR before anyone can stop her. Behind her, the room is silent except for the steady beep of the monitors. In the scrub room, Maya tears off her gloves. Her hands are shaking now. Not from fear, from adrenaline. From the memory of 100 other moments just like this one, in places where there was no backup, no second chances, no room for error. She turns on the faucet. Lets the cold water run over her hands. Breathes. In. 4 counts. Hold. 4 counts. Out. The door opens. Dr. Samir steps inside. He doesn't say anything at first, just stands beside her, arms crossed, watching. Watching her in the reflection of the steel. That was a level 1 combat triage decision you made in there. Maya doesn't look at him. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. She shuts off the water, reaches for a towel. I saw an opportunity. I took it. You saw a dying child, and you performed a procedure most neurosurgeons wouldn't attempt without imaging and a full team. He's alive, isn't he? That's not the point. Maya turns to face him. Her voice is low, hard. Then what is the point, doctor? Samir studies her for a long moment. The point is, you're not who you say you are. Maya's jaw tightens. I'm Dr. Maya Reeves, first-year resident. That's all. Is it? She doesn't answer. Samir exhales, steps closer. I'm not your enemy, Reeves. But if you keep pulling miracles out of thin air, people are going to start asking questions you don't want to answer. Then maybe they should stop putting me in situations where miracles are necessary. She pushes past him and walks out. In the hallway, Diane is waiting. Dr. Reeves. Maya stops, doesn't turn around. That was incredible, what you did in there. I did what needed to be done. No. Diane steps in front of her. You did what someone with years of trauma experience would do. And I want to know where you learned it. Maya meets her gaze, says nothing. Diane's expression hardens. I don't know what you're hiding, but I'm going to find out. She walks away. Maya stands alone in the corridor, surrounded by the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant sound of monitors. Her hands curl into fists. Then she unclenches them, walks to the locker room, opens her locker. The photograph is still there. 6 faces, 5 of them gone. She stares at it for a long time. Then she closes the locker and goes back to work. It happens in the hallway outside the OR. Maya is walking toward the locker room, head down, shoulders tight, trying to disappear into the fluorescent hum of the corridor. She's good at disappearing. But then, Captain Reeves. The voice cuts through her like a blade. She freezes, doesn't turn, doesn't breathe. Captain Maya Reeves, 274th Forward Surgical Team. The words land like mortars. Maya's spine goes rigid. Her hands curl into fists at her sides. She still doesn't turn. The voice comes closer. It is you. She has no choice now. She turns. The man standing in front of her is mid-40s, graying at the temples, wearing a visitor's badge and a jacket with a faded Army combat medic patch on the sleeve. His name is Colin Price, and she knows him. I thought you were dead, he says. Maya's voice is flat, empty. You have me confused with someone else. No. He steps closer, eyes locked on hers. No, I don't. Kandahar, 2019. You did a field amputation on a Marine with a tourniquet made from paracord and a tent pole. Saved his life. I was the one who loaded him onto the evac bird. The hallway feels too small. The walls too close. I don't know what you're talking about. Captain, I'm not a captain. Her voice is sharp now. I'm Dr. Reeves, first-year resident. It's all. Colin stares at her. Then slowly, understanding crosses his face. You didn't just leave. You buried it. Maya doesn't answer. Colin glances past her, toward the OR. Toward the nurses' station where Diane and Jensen are watching, wide-eyed, confused. Does anyone here know? Maya's jaw tightens. No. Why? Because I'm done with that life. You can't just. I can. I did. She turns to leave, but Colin's voice follows her. They called you the Reaper, Captain. You know that, right? Every field medic in theater knew your name. We saved more lives than anyone I've ever seen, and you just walked away? Maya stops. Her hands are shaking again. She hides them behind her back. That's not who I am anymore. Then who are you? She doesn't answer. Colin exhales, reaches into his jacket, pulls out his phone. I'm visiting my daughter. She's in peds, car accident. But I'm also here because I volunteer with the VA liaison program. If you ever want to talk. I don't. My number's in the system. Maya walks away, but behind her, Diana's already moving toward Colin, already asking questions. And by the time Maya reaches the locker room, the word is spreading. Captain, field surgeon, the Reaper. She sits on the bench, heading her hands, and for the first time in 6 months, she lets herself shake. The door opens. Jensen steps inside. He looks uncomfortable. Is it true? Maya doesn't look up. Is what true? That you were military? That you were some kind of combat surgeon? I don't want to talk about it. People are saying you saved hundreds of lives. That you operated in war zones. Jensen, is it true? Maya finally looks up. Her eyes are red, tired. It doesn't matter. It does matter. You let us think you were just some quiet first year who couldn't handle pressure. You let Diane say you'd fold. You let all of us underestimate you. Because I wanted to be underestimated. Jensen stares at her. Why? Maya stands, pulls her jacket from the locker. Because I didn't want to be that person anymore. She walks past him, out of the locker room, into the corridor where everyone is staring. Diane, Holloway, Miner, Garrett. They all know now. Maya keeps walking, through the whispers, through the stairs. She makes it to the parking lot before she brakes. Her hands hit the steering wheel, once, twice. Then she leans her forehead against it and closes her eyes. Breathes. In. 4 counts. Hold. 4 counts. Out. Her phone buzzes. A text from Samir. I know you want to be left alone, but if you need someone who understands, I'm here. Maya stares at the message. Then she types back. Thank you. She sits in the car for another 20 minutes. Watching the sunset. Watching the hospital lights flicker on. Then she drives home. In her apartment, she opens the closet, pulls out the box. Inside, the uniform, the medal, and beneath them, something else. A letter. It's addressed to her, from her commanding officer, written 2 years ago, right before she left. She's never opened it. She holds it now, turning it over in her hands. Then she sets it on the table, unopened. She's not ready yet. That night she dreams again, but this time it's different. She's in the tent. The soldier is on the table. But when she looks down, it's not him, it's her. She wakes up gasping, heart pounding, sheets soaked with sweat. She checks the time. 0300. She gets up, goes to the kitchen, pours a glass of water, stands at the window, looking out at the city lights. And for the first time in 2 years, she lets herself think about what she left behind. The faces, the voices, the weight of every life she couldn't save. She thinks about the soldier who didn't make it. And she thinks about the child who did. She finishes the water, goes back to bed, and this time, when she closes her eyes, she doesn't dream. The next morning, she goes back to the hospital. The stairs haven't stopped, but she doesn't run. She walks into the OR, scrubs in, and gets back to work, because that's all she knows how to do. The second trauma comes in at 16:20 hours. Mass casualty event, factory explosion. 12 critical. ETA 6 minutes. The entire surgical wing mobilizes. Maya is still in the locker room when the PA crackles to life. All available personnel to trauma intake. Repeat, all available personnel. She doesn't move. She can hear them in the hallway. Diane, Jensen, Holloway. They're whispering. Captain Reeves, is it true? She never said anything. Maya closes her eyes, breathes. In, 4 counts. Hold, 4 counts. Out. But the building starts to shake. Not literally, but it feels like it. The first wave of patients hits the ER like a tsunami. Maya stands, pulls on her scrub cap, ties it tight. She walks into the hallway. The chaos is immediate. Stretchers everywhere. Blood, screaming, smoke still clinging to patients' clothes. Dr. Garrett is triaging. He's overwhelmed. They all are. Reeves, he shouts. Bay 3, now! She doesn't hesitate. But when she gets to Bay 3, there are 3 patients, not 1. All critical, all bleeding out. Who do I prioritize? The scrub nurse asks, panicked. Maya scans the room. Her mind shifts, switches, drops into a mode she hasn't used in 2 years. Combat triage. Left patient first, femoral bleed. Right patient second, tension pneumo. Middle patient last, he's stable enough to wait. But he's the one. Trust me. Her voice isn't loud. But it cuts through the noise like command. The nurse obeys. Maya moves to the first patient, clamps the artery, sutures it in 40 seconds, moves to the second, inserts a chest tube without anesthesia. The patient screams, but he breathes. Moves to the third, starts an IV, hangs blood, monitors. All 3 stabilize. The room falls silent. And then, a sound. Low, deep, growing. The unmistakable thrum of rotor blades. Maya's head snaps up. Everyone freezes. Through the window they see it. A Black Hawk helicopter descending onto the hospital's rooftop helipad. Military. Unmarked. Precise. The doors open. 3 figures step out. 2 MPs in full dress. 1 officer, a colonel. Graying, squared jaw, chest full of ribbons. He walks into the hospital like he owns it, and 30 seconds later, he's in the OR wing. Dr. Garrett steps forward. Sir, this is a civilian. The colonel doesn't look at him. He looks at Maya. Captain Reeves. The room goes dead silent. Maya stands in the center of Bay 3, blood on her gloves, exhaustion in her eyes. Colonel Hayes. You're a hard woman to find. I wasn't trying to be found. Hayes looks around the room, at the stabilized patients, at the controlled chaos, at the staff staring in shock. We need you. I'm retired. You're recalled. Maya's jaw tightens. I left. I'm done. You're never done, Captain. Not when people are dying. Garrett finally finds his voice. Excuse me, this is my OR. You can't just... Hayes turns to him. His voice is calm, absolute. Captain Reeves holds a reserve commission with active clearance. She is one of 3 Level 1 combat surgeons in the country, certified for mass casualty field command. And right now, there's a convoy of wounded service members, 20 minutes out, who will die without her. He looks back at Maya. So yes, I can. Maya doesn't move. Hayes steps closer, lowers his voice. I know why you left. I know what happened in Kandahar. But those men need you. And you know you can't walk away. Maya's hands are shaking again. But this time, she doesn't hide them. She looks at the patients in Bay 3, at the staff watching her, at the life she tried to build. And she looks at Hayes. What's the ETA? 18 minutes. She nods, strips off her gloves, turns to the room. Clear Bay 1 and Bay 2. I need 4 units of O-neg per table. Intubation kits, surgical packs for penetrating trauma, and someone who can keep up. Her voice is different now. Steady, hard, unshakable. This is Captain Maya Reeves. And she doesn't ask permission. She gives orders. Diane steps forward. What do you need me to do? Maya meets her gaze. Coordinate blood supply. I want runners between the blood bank and both bays. No delays. On it. Holloway approaches. Captain, I'll scrub in with you. Bay 2. Samir's with me in Bay 1. Samir appears in the doorway, already scrubbed. He nods once. Maya moves through the OR like water. Precise. Efficient. No wasted motion. She's done this before. 100 times. Intense. In bunkers. In places where the only light came from headlamps, and the only sounds were explosions and prayers. The convoy arrives in 16 minutes. 6 wounded. 2 critical. 1 dying. Maya is scrubbed in before the first stretcher hits the bay. The first patient is wheeled in. Nail, early 20s. Shrapnel wounds across his chest and abdomen. BP 70/40 and dropping. Maya's hands move. Clamp, suture, retract, cauterize. She's faster than anyone in the room has ever seen. The monitor climbs. 80, 90, 100. Stable. The second patient arrives. Blast injury. Amputated leg. Tourniquets failing. Maya doesn't flinch. She reconstructs what's left of the femoral artery. Closes the stump. Preps him for transfer. He'll live. The third patient is the worst. Chest trauma. Collapsed lung. Heart in tamponade. Maya cracks his chest right there on the table. Her hands move inside his ribcage, massaging his heart, clearing the blood, giving him a chance. The room holds its breath. The heart stutters, stops, stutters again, then beats. Maya steps back, lets the team close. She strips off her gloves, her gown, walks to the scrub room. Her hands are covered in blood. She washes them, slowly, methodically. In the reflection of the steel, she sees herself, not Dr. Reeves, Captain Reeves. The door opens. Hayes steps inside. You saved all 6. Maya doesn't look at him. That was the job. It's always the job with you. She dries her hands, turns to face him. Why did you really come here, Colonel? Hayes is quiet for a moment. Because you're the best. And because those men deserved the best. I'm not coming back. I know. Then why? Because you needed to remember who you are. Maya stares at him. Hayes nods once, then leads. Maya stands alone, and for the first time in 2 years, she doesn't feel like she's hiding. The sun is setting when Maya finally leaves the OR. She walks through the corridors, past the stairs, past the whispers, until she reaches the rooftop access stairs. The door is supposed to be locked, but it never is. She climbs. The roof is empty. Just her and the city lights flickering on in the distance. The helipad is still warm from the Black Hawk's departure. She sits on the edge, legs dangling, and lets the wind wash over her. She's been up here before, on the nights when sleep wouldn't come, when the dreams were too loud. Footsteps behind her. She doesn't turn. You shouldn't be up here, Samir says. Neither should you. He sits beside her, doesn't say anything for a long time, just watches the horizon with her. Finally, he speaks. 274th Forward Surgical Team. I looked it up. Maya's jaw tightens. Of course you did. 4 tours, 3 commendations, Silver Star for Valor. Samir. You were there during the Kandahar offensive. Operated for 72 hours straight, saved 38 lives. I lost 12. Her voice cracks, just barely. Samir turns to look at her. You remember all of them, don't you? Maya nods. Every single one. Their names. Their names. Their faces. The way they looked at me when they knew they weren't going to make it. She pulls her knees to her chest, wraps her arms around them. There was a Marine, 19 years old, Jackson. IED took off both his legs and part of his abdomen. I did everything right, everything by the book. But he kept bleeding, and I couldn't stop it, and he just kept looking at me like I could save him. Her voice is shaking now. He died holding my hand, and the last thing he said was thank you. Samir doesn't interrupt, just listens. After that, I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't be the person everyone counted on. Couldn't carry the weight of all those faces, so I left. Changed my name, well, dropped my rank, became someone nobody knew, someone nobody expected anything from. But you're still saving lives. As a first-year resident, I can hide. I can be invisible. I can just do the work. Orc without carrying the responsibility of being the Reaper. Except you can't hide who you are, Maya, not when people are dying in front of you. She looks at him. Her eyes are wet. I don't want to be her anymore. Then who do you want to be? I don't know. Samir is quiet for a moment. Then he says, I was Navy, ship surgeon. Did 2 tours before I realized I couldn't save everyone and stay sane. So I came here. Thought civilian work would be easier. Is it? No. But at least the explosions are metaphorical. Maya almost laughs. Almost. How do you do it? She asks. How do you live with the ones you lost? I remember that I saved more than I lost, and I trust that I did everything I could. What if everything you could wasn't enough? Then you grieve, and then you save the next one. Maya looks out at the city, at the lights, at the life continuing below, oblivious to the wars being fought in operating rooms and inside people's heads. Colonel Hayes said I needed to remember who I am, but I don't know if I want to be that person. You don't have to be Captain Reeves, but you can't pretend Dr. Reeves isn't her either. Maya closes her eyes. I'm so tired, Samir. I know, I just wanted to disappear. I know. They sit in silence for a while. Then Samir stands, offers her his hand. Come on, there's someone who wants to talk to you. Maya takes his hand, lets him pull her up. They go back downstairs. In the conference room, Diane is waiting. Maya stops in the doorway. I'm not in the mood for. I owe you an apology, Diane says. Maya blinks. Diane stands, faces her directly. I said you'd panic under pressure. I said you didn't have the spine for this work. I was wrong. You didn't know. I should have. I've been a nurse for 23 years. I should have seen what you were capable of instead of seeing what I expected. There's a pause. I'm sorry, Dr. Reeves. Captain Reeves. Whoever you want to be, I'm sorry. Maya's throat tightens. Thank you. Diane nods. Then she leaves. Maya stands alone in the conference room. Samir appears in the doorway. There's more. More what? People who want to apologize. He steps aside. Jensen walks in. Then Holloway. Then Garrett. Then Miner. One by one, they apologize. For underestimating her. For dismissing her. For not seeing who she really was. Maya listens. Accepts. Says nothing. When they're done, Garrett steps forward. We'd like you to lead the new trauma protocol team, if you're willing. Maya stares at him. I'm a first-year resident. You're a combat surgeon with more experience than half this staff combined. We'd be idiots not to use that. Maya looks around the room, at the faces watching her, waiting. I don't know if I can. You already did, Garrett says. Today, you saved 9 lives, 6 military, 3 civilian. You coordinated a mass casualty response better than anyone I've ever seen. That was survival. That was instinct. That was leadership. Maya's hands curl into fists, then relax. I need time to think about it. Garrett nods. Take all the time you need. They leave. Eve. Maya sits alone in the conference room, surrounded by empty chairs and the hum of fluorescent lights. She pulls out her phone, opens her photos. Finds the picture she took of the photograph in her locker. 6 faces, 5 of them gone. She stares at it for a long time. Then she types a message. I'm still here. I'm still trying. I hope that's enough. She doesn't send it to anyone, just saves it as a note. Then she stands, walks to the locker room, opens her locker. The photograph is still there. She pulls it out, holds it in both hands, and for the first time in 2 years, she doesn't feel like she's carrying it alone. She tucks it into her jacket pocket. Not hidden, just close. Then she goes home. That night she sleeps without dreaming. 3 days later, the hospital holds a staff meeting. Maya sits in the back row, arms crossed, trying to be invisible. It doesn't work. Dr. Holloway stands at the front. He's been asked to lead the meeting, interim chief of surgery while the board sorts out new leadership structure. 3 days ago, we had a mass casualty event. Factory explosion, plus a military convoy. 15 critical patients. We saved every single one. He pauses, looks around the room. That doesn't happen by accident. His eyes find Maya. Dr. Reeves, Captain Reeves, showed us what it looks like to lead under impossible pressure. She showed us what real competence means. What it looks like when someone stops thinking about hierarchy and starts thinking about saving lives. The room is silent. I owe her an apology. We all do. Holloway steps down from the podium, walks to the back row, extends his hand. Maya stares at it. Then slowly, she shakes it. The room erupts into applause. Maya's face flushes. She hates this, hates the attention, hates being seen. But she doesn't run. She sits through the applause, through the recognition, through the discomfort of being visible. When it finally dies down, Holloway returns to the front. Effective immediately, we're implementing a new trauma response protocol. Dr. Reeves will be heading the development team. We're also creating a training program for high-stress scenarios, and she'll be leading that as well. Maya's head snaps up. I didn't agree to that. You did, Garrett says from the side of the room. Last night, you said you'd think about it. Well, we thought about it for you. That's not how. You're the best person for the job, Holloway interrupts, and this hospital needs you. Not as a first-year resident, as a leader. Maya stands. Every eye in the room is on her. I came here to disappear, to be nobody. Too late, Diane says from the front row. You're somebody whether you like it or not. Maya looks around the room, at the faces watching her, expecting something. She takes a breath. Fine. But I do this my way. No cameras, no press, no making me the face of anything. I teach, I train, I save lives. That's it. Holloway nods. Deal. Maya sits back down. The meeting continues, but she stops listening. Over the next 2 weeks, things change. Dr. Garrett asks her to co-lead a trauma simulation workshop. She agrees. Diane invites her to the monthly senior staff dinner. Maya goes, stays for an hour, leaves early but doesn't regret going. Dr. Samir starts teaching her advanced vascular techniques in his off hours. Not because she needs it, but because he wants to. Because they understand each other in ways most people don't. And the residents stop whispering. They start listening. One afternoon, Maya is in the residence lounge when Jensen approaches. Hey. She looks up from her tablet. Hey. Jensen sits down. He looks uncomfortable. I said some things about you before. I know. I'm sorry. Maya nods. Thank you. There's a pause. Can I ask you something? Sure. How do you do it? Stay calm when everything's falling apart. Maya is quiet for a long moment. Then she says, you breathe. You focus on the next step. You trust that your training will hold you. And you remember that panicking won't save anyone. That's it? That's it. Jensen nods slowly. You know, when I first met you, I thought you were scared of everything. I was. I am. But you don't let it stop you. No, I don't. Jensen smiles. You're kind of a badass, you know that? Maya almost laughs. I'm really not. Yeah, you are. He leads. Maya sits alone, staring at her coffee, and for the first time in weeks, she feels something close to peace. 2 months later, the hospital announces a new position, Trauma Surgery Fellowship Coordinator. They offer it to Maya. She stands in the administrative office, staring at the formal offer letter, trying to process what it means. This is a full attending position, she says. Yes, the hospital director replies. I'm technically still a first-year resident. Technically. But your military service counts as advanced clinical experience. The board voted unanimously. You're the most qualified person we have. Maya looks at the letter again. What about my past? What about the fact that I lied about who I was? You didn't lie, you just didn't tell us. There's a difference. Is there? The director leans forward. Dr. Reeves, you saved 15 lives in 1 day. You've trained half our residents in trauma response. You've made this hospital better just by being here. Your past isn't a liability, it's an asset. Maya folds the letter, tucks it into her pocket. I need to think about it. Take your time. She leads the office, walks through the hospital, past the OR, past the residence lounge, past the trauma bay, where she stood 3 months ago, terrified and invisible. She ends up on the roof again. The city stretches out before her, lights flickering on as the sun sets. She pulls out her phone, opens her messages. There's one from Colin, the combat medic who recognized her. Heard you're doing good things. Proud of you, Captain. She types back, not a captain anymore, just Maya. His response comes immediately. You'll always be the Reaper to us, in the best way. Maya smiles, puts her phone away. She sits on the edge of the helipad, legs dangling, and watches the sky change colors. Footsteps behind her. Thought I'd find you. You here? Samir says. Am I that predictable? Only to people who know you. He sits beside her. You gonna take the job? I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me still wants to disappear. You can't disappear anymore, Maya. Too many people see you now. I know. Is that a bad thing? She thinks about it. Really thinks about it. No, I don't think it is. They sit in silence for a while. Then Maya says, I spent 2 years trying to bury who I was, trying to be someone smaller, quieter, less responsible. But it didn't work, because that's not who I am. No, it's not. I'm Captain Maya Reeves. I'm a combat surgeon. I've saved lives in war zones and operating rooms, and I can't pretend that didn't happen. So what are you going to do? Maya stands, looks out at the city. I'm going to accept the job. I'm going to train the next generation of surgeons, and I'm going to stop apologizing for being good at what I do. Samir stands beside her. Good. They go back downstairs. Maya walks into the administrative office. I'll take the position. The director smiles. Welcome aboard, Dr. Reeves. Captain Reeves, Maya corrects. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. The director extends her hand. Maya shakes it. And for the first time in 2 years, she doesn't feel like she's hiding. 1 year later, Maya stands in the same OR, Bay 3, but everything is different. She's not a first-year resident anymore. She's an attending, a teacher, a leader, and she's training a new group of residents who look at her the way she once looked at the surgeons she thought she'd never become. Dr. Reeves, one of the residents, a young woman named Alicia, nervous, brilliant, skittish, approaches. I don't know if I can do this. Maya turns, looks at her. Why? Because I freeze. When it gets bad, I just freeze. Maya is quiet for a moment. Then she says, so did I. Alicia blinks. You? Every time. For months. But I'm still human. I still get scared. I just learned to move through it. How? Maya steps closer. You breathe. You trust your training. And you remember that the person on that table is counting on you to be stronger than your fear. Alicia nods slowly. Okay, you'll be fine, Maya says. I promise. Alicia manages a small smile, then heads into the OR. Maya watches her go. Behind her, Diane appears. You're good at this. Teaching. I'm learning. No, you're good. Diane pauses. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad we didn't break you. Maya turns to face her. You didn't break me. You just made me remember who I was. Diane smiles. Well, whoever you are now, we're lucky to have you. She leaves. Maya stands alone in the corridor, surrounded by the familiar hum of the hospital, and realizes she's not afraid anymore. Not of being seen. Not of being known. Not of being Captain Maya Reeves. That evening, she goes home. It's a small apartment. Minimalist. Clean, but warmer now. There are plants on the windowsill, books on the shelves, photos on the wall. One of them is the photograph. The one with 6 faces. 5 of them gone. But it's not hidden anymore. It's framed, displayed. Beneath it, she's added a new line in careful handwriting. I'm still here. I'm still saving lives, and I think you'd be proud. She stands in front of it for a long moment. Then she turns off the light and sleeps without nightmares. The next morning, she's back in the hospital early. There's a new trauma protocol simulation scheduled, and she's leading it. The residents gather in the simulation lab, 12 of them, all nervous, all eager. Maya stands at the front. Today, we're going to run a mass casualty scenario. Multiple patients, limited resources, high stress. You're going to make mistakes. That's the point. We learn from mistakes here so we don't make them when lives are on the line. She pauses, looks at each of them. Some of you are going to freeze. Some of you are going to panic. That's okay. What matters is what you do after. Do you give up, or do you push through? Alicia raises her hand. What if we can't push through? Maya meets her gaze. Then you lean on the person next to you. Medicine isn't a solo sport. We save lives together. The simulation begins. Maya watches from the observation room. Samir stands beside her. They're struggling, he says. They're learning. You were never this patient when you started. I didn't have anyone teaching me patience. I had to learn it the hard way. Samir nods. You've come a long way, Captain. So have you, Commander. They watch in comfortable silence. By the end of the session, 3 of the residents have managed successful triage. The others have learned what not to do. Maya gathers them afterward. Good work today. You made mistakes, but you learned from them. That's what matters. One of the residents, a young man named Marcus, speaks up. Dr. Reeves, is it true you operated in war zones? Maya hesitates, then nods. Yes. What was it like? She's quiet for a long moment. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. And the most important. Do you miss it? I miss the people I served with. I miss knowing that every day mattered. But I don't miss the war. Why did you leave? Maya looks at him, at all of them. Because I learned that you can't save everyone. And I needed to learn how to live with that. The room is silent. Then Alicia asks, how do you live with it? Maya takes a breath. You remember that you did everything you could. You honor the ones you lost by saving the ones who can. And you keep moving forward. She dismisses them. As they file out, Marcus approaches. Thank you, Dr. Reeves. For what? For being honest, for showing us that it's okay to struggle. Maya nods. We all struggle. The difference is whether we let it stop us. He leaves. Maya stands alone in the simulation lab, surrounded by mannequins and medical equipment, and realizes she's exactly where she's supposed to be. 6 months later, the hospital holds an awards ceremony. Maya is nominated for the Attending of the Year award. She doesn't want to go, hates the idea of being on stage, but Samir convinces her, "You've earned this. Let them recognize you." So she goes. She sits in the back, wearing a dress she bought specifically for this, uncomfortable, and counting the minutes until she can leave. When they call her name, she walks to the stage. The applause is deafening. She accepts the award, steps up to the microphone. "I'm not good at speeches," she begins. The room laughs. "A year ago, I was hiding. I was trying to be invisible, because I thought that was the only way to survive. But this hospital taught me something. You can't hide from who you are, and you shouldn't have to." She pauses, looks out at the crowd. "I'm Captain Maya Reeves. I'm a combat surgeon. I've saved lives in war zones and operating rooms. I've lost people I couldn't save. And I've learned that the only way forward is to keep trying, to keep showing up, to keep being the person someone needs when everything falls apart." Her voice steadies. "So thank you for seeing me, for trusting me, for letting me be both the person I was and the person I'm becoming." She steps down. The applause follows her all the way back to her seat. After the ceremony, Diane finds her in the hallway. "That was beautiful. It was terrifying. Same thing." Maya smiles. Diane pulls her into a hug. "I'm proud of you." Maya hugs her back. "Thank you." That night, Maya goes home. She opens her laptop, pulls up a blank document, and for the first time in 2 years, she starts writing. Not a report. Not a protocol, a letter, to the 5 faces in the photograph, to the people she lost, to the person she used to be. She writes about the last year, about the mistakes and the victories, about the residents she's teaching and the lives she's saving. She writes about fear and courage and the space between them. And when she's done, she saves it, prints it, folds it carefully, and tucks it into the frame with the photograph. She stands back, looks at it. 6 faces, 5 of them gone. 1 still fighting. "I'm still here," she whispers, "and I'm not going anywhere." She turns off the light, goes to bed, and dreams of the future. The screen fades to black. Text appears. Captain Maya Reeves served 4 tours as a combat surgeon before transitioning to civilian practice. She now leads the trauma surgery program at Metropolitan Hospital and has trained over 200 residents. She has saved more than 400 lives and counting. She still doesn't like being called a hero, but the people whose lives she's saved call her one anyway. The final image is Maya in the OR, hands steady, eyes focused, surrounded by her team. Competent, confident, complete. The text fades. One final message appears. Competence isn't loud. Strength isn't flashy. And the people who hold the world together are often the ones nobody sees until the moment everything falls apart. If you've ever been underestimated, overlooked, or told you weren't enough, remember this. Maya Reeves was told she'd panic under pressure. Instead, she became the person everyone else leaned on when the world collapsed. You are capable of more than they see. Trust yourself, the way she learned to. Fade to black. End.